Good morning, everyone, on this bank holiday Monday here in the UK. I hope you're all good. I hope you are all well. We're going to have a fun show today, trying to talk all things Spurs. And yeah, I did say fun. We'll get into everything in a minute. Let me just say hello to everyone and introduce everyone. So the guest first, because we've got 2 Tottenham on tour and a third could be joining us. So first of all, I want to say a big welcome and hello, making his debut on Tottenham on tour, to my man David. How are you, brother?
I'm very well. Thank you for having me, mate. I appreciate it.
Well, you were meant to come on Friday, but something came up, so we delivered. We delivered. We didn't haggle and hustle and make it drag out 3 weeks. We did it in 3 days. So
Exactly,
welcome, brother. Amir,
Thank
my
you very
man,
much.
how are you, brother?
I'm very, very well. Morning, all. Yeah, just delighted every time we get to see Spurs play and ball. They're looking good. So, yeah, plenty to get through. And obviously, with the window coming up, there's a lot of talk to be had today.
There's always a lot of talk when transfers come in with Tottenham. There's just no action, is there? Johnny, good morning, brother. How are you?
I'm great. Day 5 of Flygate. I'm fighting the fight for the British public, but the Flies are winning.
Such is your dedication.
Yeah, I'm dedicating to the fight. Yeah, look. Listen, I don't remember the last time we won 3 games in a row and I was buzzing. It's a long time ago. It was a good few years ago. Probably pre-pandemic. Do you remember that? Pandemic?
Yeah.
Before that, that's how long ago. Where life was reasonably normal, and we were winning games. So it's good to be back in that mindset.
There we go. So before we get into everything, I'm just to say hello to everyone. We've been going just over 2 minutes. It's a bank holiday Monday. It's not even 9 o'clock, and there's 44 people in here already. So good morning to you. So first of all, Eddie, good morning to you. Eddie, when you've spoken about Brennan Johnson, trust me, we will be speaking about him. We got Fugazi, who is a fan of Brennan Johnson, so you're going to be interested into sticking around. We have got Steve Fraser. Good morning, my brother. How are you? Long-time supporter of the channel. Hope you're all right. Just a harmless potato. One of the names I love the most on YouTube. Good morning, sir. Wolves V, when you want to talk about a big supporter of not just this channel, but of pretty much all Tottenham channels, this man is everywhere. Good morning, my friend. Eddie 22, Tempest Fugit, my longest known friend. I've known this kid for about 40 odd years. Stuart, good morning, my brother. I hope you're good. Andrew Gregory, another fantastic supporter of the channel. Who else have we got in the chat? 1 second, I've lost my place. We have got Mark Cousins, big up the sheriff. Corey, big up, brother. Colin, always a pleasure to see you here, my friend. Elvis 5K Doob. Okay, that's a new name, I think. Welcome to the channel, my friend. Paul Brown, big up.
Elvis is in the building.
He is. David, thank you very much for the kind comment, and thanks everyone for the wonderful reception again to me and Johnny with Ange management, which will be back this time Wednesday morning.
Brian, just quickly, there was a comment just before Fabrizio. I don't know if it's a new Fabrizio.
About what, Brennan Johnson?
Yeah. Which one?
Yeah, we're going to discuss everything that.
No, I just didn't know whether it was something new that had just come up.
Let me have a quick check, and then I'll say you.
If you see me doing this, guys, right? It's not me beating anyone. It's me fighting the remaining fly.
Let's just have a see. Let's just see. Has Fabrizio said anything? Apart from Chelsea are in for Cucurella. Okay, I could be moving to Manchester United, apparently.
No, Brian, an hour ago he did. Tottenham prepared to approach Nottingham Forest for Brennan Johnson this week. Ange Postecoglou has already approved the move. Not easy deal as Forest rejected big proposal, but interest in Brennan is growing.
Oh, they rejected the bid. Shocking. So would I for 3p
they
and a
rejected the
Skywalk.
previous bid.
Yeah. So yeah, what of 6p and a Skywalk? So Donovan, good morning, my West Coast Canadian brother. Mark, thank you very much indeed, mate. JJ, MZ, I believe she may be West Ham, but she's in the same room as David. So thank you very much indeed, my brother from Sweden, Tony Rodriguez. Good morning,
Tony.
Boxing Hotspur, Chris Martin, my man Andy Lloyd, who I didn't realise had Twitter until yesterday. So brilliant. We've got Yossi in from Switzerland. We have Paul from Melbourne, Druella, Tiger 99. Who else is in the building? Paul, Leo, and Lego. There's another wicked name. There is a wicked name. We'll be talking Robbie Williams. Trust me. Who else have we got in? Daniel's in. edX is in. Sammy is in. Ryan McFarland and Karthik Vay. So brilliant, guys. Good morning to you. 87 of you already in here. Fantastic. Thank you for joining. So let's get into this. Let's talk transfers. And let's talk the name on everyone's lips at the moment, Brennan Johnson. Now, yesterday I was away at AEW, so I saw it going mad on my Twitter. I saw it going mad. There is big talk of this still going on. This is gathering more and more and more and more pace. David, we're going to come to you first. What's your thoughts on the player and the transfer itself?
Well, as a Welshman myself, I know I don't sound Welsh, but I am. Don't get me wrong. Brennan, for me, is a fantastic player, but he's very raw. You know what I mean? He's not at all a finished article. He's got many, many years in him yet. 50 million, I think, is highly steep for him, but today's market, I mean, when you're seeing the likes of Cancelo going for 130 million and players like that, it's not surprising Forest need that type of money, especially with financial fair play. I mean, if we can get a player going to them, I heard rumours it might be Brian Hill or Sanchez. So if we can get a player going to them and we get him for around about 30 million, I think that would be a cracking deal. But it's early stages of the actual talks and stuff like that. So this will go down to the very last day. But on Brennan Johnson, I think he's a quality player and I'd love him at Tottenham. As a Welshman, being biased.
There you go. So I mean, I have to say, Paul O'Keefe tweeted it when I was on my way to the event yesterday. And it said official contract talks or official contact has been made, but it's early days yet. Well, Paul O'Keefe's words. And the first thing I text back to Paul O'Keefe is early days and 1 week of the transfer window and Tottenham Hotspur is not a combination that fills me with confidence or hope of a transfer getting done. What's your thoughts on this whole thing?
Well, here's the thing, Daigle, right? We've been burnt in the past, especially when it comes down to strikers, right? Your Janssens of the world, your Postigas of the world, whenever we're looking at strikers,
Rasiak.
Rasiak, the list goes on and on and on. So I'm always nervous when we're looking into strikers. This Johnson fella, personally, I haven't seen enough of him to be, like David said, bring him in. He's a fantastic player. What I have seen of him is he's good on the ball. He's technical. He can finish, with his head, with both feet. He's decent. The only thing I'm worried about is that he is raw. You're looking at a very, very raw player. Is he gonna come in and set the world alight and get us 10, 15 goals? I'm not sure, and that's the kind of player I want to be bringing in. Someone who is going to get the numbers. And I'm just a bit hesitant. I'm just a bit hesitant on Johnson so far. I think there's other players out there that might fit the mold a little bit better. But then again, if there is a deal to be had, let's say for 25, 30 odd million and, a player going that way, you're getting two birds with one stone there. So it's definitely something to think about. But I think we should also have other options, in the chamber just in case.
I have to say, I was
Yeah.
waiting for you to finish so I could put this out because my friend Jens has come in and this is exactly what I'm waiting for. Morning all. When does the "we tried" statement get rolled out? Johnny, do you think this is got at least we tried all over it, or do you reckon this still happens? And what's your thought?
Listen, look, my thoughts on Brennan Johnson. He's very quick. The end. 61%. 61% pass success completion is not enough for me. Look, being quick is great, but it's called football and you have to carry the ball with you. I think he's like the second or third fastest player in the league. I used to say Gift Auburn was as raw as a baboon's backside, but I think with Brennan Johnson, he's 22 years of age, maybe coming up to 23. He's had a good season in the Championship. Sorry, it's the fly again. I should give him.
What do you think you're breaking into darts? You're going to do the Macarena?
Marty McFly, I'm going to call him. But the Championship. He did well in the Championship last season. He was okay. Yes, it was a poor Forest team. Tell me, we're going to pay this money for him. Where's he going to play? When's he going to play? Well, we're going to play this money for him to sit on the bench. What's he going to take? Kulu's place? No. Sonny's place? No. He's going to play through the middle instead of Richarlison? I don't think he's a striker, an out-and-out striker, personally.
He's not.
His first touch is not good. His passing is quite poor. His assists are quite poor. What is this about? Is this Daniel Levy now taking over as director of football and saying, I can do a deal here? Why can he do a deal? I'll swap you 3 bits of deadwood for a players plus cash. Is this a Levy deal? Is this the first Levy DJ Spence deal of the season? Because let's be honest, Spence was done right at the death, very similar. And it was a Levy deal. This, to me, doesn't sound like an Ange deal. Because where's he going to play? Just tell me where he's going to play.
Well, this is the thing.
Levy, £40 million to sit on the bench? Nah.
This is what we got to remember as well is I'll go into my bit in a minute, but Wolfie is right. If Ange is okay with this, we're all going to have to be okay with this.
Yeah.
And it will show. But also, again, and the great man that I always use this comment, Mr. James Flower, who is in the building. Hope you're good, and he'll be on this week if he's available to come on. Is if we're going down a model of data-driven or whatever it may be, and this is who's been identified, then we can't get mad if he comes in. But I agree. I think he's a terrific player. I think he's got the potential to be a great player, but it's that word again. It's potential. When you've lost your best striker, or not just the best striker in the league over recent history, one of the very, very best in the world, you need to sign a replacement that's going to come in and do, or at least play in that position.
He's not a replacement, though, Brian.
He's not. That's what I'm saying. He's not. He's a winger. I mean, don't get me wrong. If it weren't for him last season, Notts Forest are relegated. Pure and simple. At the end of the season, he was on fire. I just don't understand. It was striker. Oh, winger. It looks to me again that it's a bit scattergun, as only Tottenham Hotspur can do. Like you said, David, I know that they also want Reguilon. I know they're interested in Skippy, but I think Skippy will be loan. This transfer is just bizarre for me. And at 50 mil, I mean, how much money do we think if I cut the players that they're interested in? If it's Sanchez, what are they going to take off the deal? 10 million? Maybe.
Hang on. Why would you, of all the defenders, if we're not getting another centre back, the only freaking defender that we've got, the centre back that can play Ange's system, is Sanchez because he's quick.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. But this is the thing. If Forest,
so why
you
get
got.
Rid of him?
I'll tell you now. Obviously, this is me speaking kind of with my thought process, and we know where my thought process leads when talking about this. We have got one season left in his contract. Is he going to let a £42.5 million player that was his record signing go out on a free? And you got to remember, this deal for me only goes through if it's player plus cash. If it's straight cash, 50 million, this still don't get done in my opinion. What do you think, Amir?
No, it's too much. It's honestly 50 million. You're looking at, that raw kind of talent. Yeah, exactly what Anthony's saying right there. That's what I would do. I think even though Auburn is raw as well, right? He's raw as well, but I think taking a risk on someone like that as well, who won't mind sitting on the bench as much as Johnson's he's used to regular football. He's not coming here for 50 million and going to get in the team week in, week out. So for me, get an Auburn in and get a defender in, and that would be a start for me. That's a start.
Amir, how many more wingers do you need? Right, we need a centre back. We need another centre back.
100%. What happens if VDV or Romero gets injured?
We got Danny Dyer, mate.
Well, mate, have you seen? I mean, hopefully, it could be. We'll get onto transfers out after, but I think the days of Dyer wearing a Spurs shirt are over. But as you said, David, he's Welsh. You know a thing about him. Apart from the obvious pace, what do you see as his key attributes he can bring to Tottenham? Maybe not just right now, going forward.
In the future, well, basically for me, when I watched him for Wales and stuff like that, the one thing he has about him as well is he can play in 3 separate positions, which is what I think we're looking at more than anything. He can play on the right, he can play as an attacking midfielder, and he can play on the left. He's good with both feet, and he can link up play very well. I know pace, everyone's saying he's just pacey and all that, but he's good 1v1 as well. He has an ability to take on a player. Now, the one thing Kulu doesn't have, now don't get me wrong, I love Kulusevski, but the one thing he doesn't have is the ability to go either side of a player much. He always favours his left foot, whereas Johnson, he can move on to his right, he can move on to his left, and he can run at a player and take them on. He's not afraid of that.
So, David, I was just going to ask you then, so begs the question, why do you complete the transfer of Kulu for 35 million, knowing full well that he can't play in the position, to then go and spend £40 million on a player can play in that position better than the one you've just bought for 35 million? Because I hear what you're saying, and that is, as 1v1, that's Johnson's best attribute in my opinion.
Do you know what? Wait, Mark, Dave, you answer the question first, then I'm going to bring something up.
What was the question? Sorry,
Johnny, what was you saying?
No, does it make sense to you that we completed? Look, for me, Kulu cannot play 1v1 out on that right-hand side, okay?
No.
I think you can convert him potentially to an 8, but for me, he's just not a 1v1. He's proved it 3 games in a row, man. I mean, yes, he scored a nice goal. And he had a fortunate assist, but I just honestly I don't see it. And are we to say that Daniel Levy is going to spend £40 million to bring someone to sit on the bench? It doesn't seem like Levy at all.
No. For me, Johnny, this deal, I don't think would go for 40 million. Personally, I think Levy will try and get it cheaper, and with Forest needing money, if it was to go through, it'd be more at the 30 million mark with a couple of add-ons and a player, right? But
still,
for me, basically at the end, do you know what I mean? But to start off with, it'd be round about that, because we know what Levy's like with add-ons and stuff. But for me, what I see from Kulusevski, if you look at the past 3 games, we're near the halfway line and he'll receive the ball. Now, he doesn't have the ability to take a player on and run down that wing, which kills an attack from the midfield and on the left. Excuse me. And with Johnson, if you watch his games, he'll receive that ball and he will bomb it down that wing. He will hold the ball up and he will allow everyone to get into the box. Now, would I say that I'd prefer Auburn over Brennan? Yes. At the present moment, me as a person, Welshman, and I love Brennan Johnson, I would take Gift Orban because I believe that's where we need
Goal scorer, right?
Goal scorer, exactly. Yeah. But I think the whole concept and idea of Brennan is the fact that he can play 3 positions. Solomon can play 2, left and right.
He could play false 9 for Shakhtar. He played a false 9.
Oh, right. Well, there you go. I didn't know that.
Against Real Madrid, for Shakhtar, when they embarrassed them, he played there.
Yeah. So there's a lot of movement between the wingers and stuff like that, which really, if you look at Kulusevski, he might be able to play an 8, but we've not really seen that. Whereas I've seen Brennan Johnson play as attacking midfielder on the left, on the right. As you said with Solomon, he's got that ability to move across the 3 as well. So I think the whole idea of this is to get wages off our books, the likes of Sanchez, who's on 140,000 a week, something stupid like that. And
is he on that much? Bloody
I
hell.
don't think he's on as much as that.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look.
I think it's similar. Is it? You know what I mean? I could be completely wrong, but I thought he was quite high on the wage list.
Let's have a look.
Ndombele on 200 or something.
Ndombele's the highest earner right now.
Yeah, he's the highest earner. Yeah,
he was one of the highest.
So,
I think Sanchez might be 90.
How scary is that, lads? How scary?
Let's have a look. I'm getting it here right now. One second. It works out.
On started Delroy and Touche. He's
no, mate. He's way off that. He's on 65 grand a week.
Really?
Yeah,
he's on 65 grand a week. His 6-year contract. His 6-year contract breakdown is he signed a 6-year contract worth £20 million, 20,280,000, which breaks it down to the pittance 3.4 million or just under 3.4 million a year. Hard life elites. But one thing I'm going to bring to this, and I've held off on bringing this comment out because got a great supporter of the channel from Australia, Mark Ishmael, who just said Ange is the king of buying and selling players. He would always give opportunities to those who are already there. Then he will get rid of the weak and bring in the right players. Yeah. So that's what we've got to look at because, as we said, we've got to be right now if Ange Postecoglou has said this is who I want, then this chap is null and void because if he wants him, I want him. End of. I am backing him to the hills. But I said before you came on, Johnny, before you joined us in the back end, I want you all to think of a striker now because we're going to do this with the striker who you think not been spoken about would be worth a go. And I was watching Match of the Day yesterday when this question came to me, and I don't think this is possible, especially where he is, especially with the owners they have and the amount of money they have. But the fact he's not getting first team football because of a certain person who's playing very, very well. I know they're playing Champions League football, but, and this is just this is not speculation. This is like, I would like to see this player at Spurs. If we could, and Callum Wilson became available, would you, and I'll go to you first, Johnny, and everyone in the chat, have your thoughts? I mean, I started looking at it. He's got into the England team. He obviously is going to want first team football. There's that clash now, or not clash, but competition with Isaacs, and Isaacs clearly winning it right now. I actually thought about Callum Johnson before he moved to Newcastle. I loved him at Bournemouth, but obviously his injury, and I thought, okay, he can be quite injury prone. So Harry, if he does get an injury, it'll be the replacement. I wouldn't. Listen, like I said, Newcastle got Champions League football. They're probably challenging again. Let's face it, Newcastle aren't short of money now, so it's not like they're going to need to bring funds in unless actually they've got FFP. So would you, and I'll go to you, Johnny, first. First of all, would you take or would you think it's worth a punt on Callum Wilson? And if not, who do you think is worth a punt that we haven't really spoken about? And that goes to everyone in the chat as well. And we'll go around the table.
So you've made him Jewish. It's Alexander Itzhak, not Isaac.
Exactly. Oh, listen. My bad. Sorry, I didn't know the name police. I didn't know the name police was in town.
There, right?
My bad. My bad. The name police. Please forgive me. Please forgive me.
I like Callum Wilson. I can't see that they're not going to let him go. I mean, why would he? Why would he leave? He's going to be in Champions League. He's on a team that is just going to get better and better. Be on the journey. You're not going to get off the boat. You're not getting off the Saudi boat when they're offering you all the gold that you can eat. So I don't see it happening. I told you if I was to buy one player right now, probably be unpopular, but I'd just go and spend the money and get Ivan Toney because he will give us exactly what we need. He's a goal scorer. He's an animal. He can run. He's got everything that we need. Shithousery, aggression. I think he's absolutely ideal. If you just went and used the Kane money, I'd go and buy him right now. Not wait till January when everyone starts bidding him. Use your noddle. Buy him now, even though you know he can't play in January, because this is a 4-year project, right? So what's wrong with buying him now? Be clever. That's what I would be doing, because come January, the guy's going to be on fire with a point to prove. And I want him to be proving it at our club, not at Brentford.
There you go. David, before I come to you with the same questions, there is 228 people in here, and we have 73 likes. Come on, guys, let's get this over the 100 on this bank holiday morning. What I will say is, the Tottenham on Tour family, you have been absolute. The conversion rate whilst we've been live and getting likes on the show has been absolutely outstanding. I want to thank you for that, because it means you're really enjoying the content we put out. So if you get a second, just hit that like button, and we will be going live every day this week. And we have a big plan for deadline day, which I'll tell you all about at the end.
Listen, Brian, it's the Rugby World Cup, and so our conversion rate should be higher, right?
I didn't even, mate, it shows how much I know about rugby. I wouldn't have a clue. But
that's the one.
Yeah,
the most,
I know. But I mean, I didn't even know the World Cup was on. So that was one. But yeah, David, my pick on Callum Wilson, and if you had to pick a striker that you think could do well, who would you go for?
Personally, I've never rated Wilson. Don't get me wrong, he's a good footballer and he can score goals, but on a personal level, I just don't like him. You know what I mean? He's just one player I don't look at and think, oh yeah, they'd be cracking in my team. And that's just a personal opinion of mine. And if we were to look at Prem players, strikers who we could buy,
doesn't have to be Prem, David. Don't have to be Prem. It can be anyone that you think that we haven't spoken about. It can be Prem, but not limited to.
Nothing from the Zimbabwean First Division, okay? They're ruled out.
My coffee almost went everywhere.
I think someone made a good point in the comments. And when you look at the way we play in the style of football, I will go with a Prem player. You know what I mean? And I think, it probably wouldn't be an overly difficult deal to do. But I think Ollie Watkins would be fantastic for us at the moment, because he is a workhorse. He can run all game, and he's a goal scorer. He can score. And someone said in the comments there about him, foreign-wise, I would love to see Jonathan David. I think he would work well for us. I think he's a cracking player. And, get a Canadian in the team.
Oh, wait, you're warming my heart there. Amir, just before we come to you, mate, we just got to get through a few super chats. Moondog, thank you very much, as ever. Terrific supporter of the channel. Good morning, lads. Hit that like button, people. Yeah, do as Moondog says, or... mate, every time I see him, seeing Wurzel Gummidge as his avatar just brings flashbacks to my youth. Big time. EdX, big up, brother. Like the stream, folks. It's the least you can do for this good content. Couldn't have put it better myself.
Thanks,
and Wolfsby, as always, thank you very much indeed, brother. No comment once again. Put a comment in and I shall bring it up. But Amir, over to you, buddy. What's your thoughts?
So, my logical head's going with Johnny on Tony. You're looking at someone who's going to come in and he's proven and, he's done it in the Prem and he's got a lot of talent. The one that I would go for a little bit out of, left field is someone that I think is really going to be a top player. And I think in this Ange system, he would actually get a ton of goals. And that's the young Ferguson. The young fellow at Brighton, because I think he's big, he's a unit, he's great in the air. He got 7 goals last season, and I think he's got a really, really bright future ahead of himself, to be honest. So I think that's one for the future. But yeah, my logical head would just go with Tony. He's going to come in and hopefully get you 15 to 20, 25 goals a season. And the only downfall, I guess, is you got to wait till January, right? Because of the whole betting debacle.
Yep, right.
Johnson's never coming out. They won't sell him. But Levy's looking for a guy. I know you said Jonathan David, but Levy's found a guy called David Jonathan, right? Who might be a little bit cheaper.
Mate, do you know what? The sad thing is that you look at it when he says, "Oh, you want that player," and then goes buys the cheap alternative. I wouldn't be surprised. But now let's go on to outgoings. Because we've been saying it all season. We even heard it again. Paul O'Keefe tweeted. And I know where he tweeted because me and Ryan were just about to go into our vape shop after the Brentford game. Paul O'Keefe tweeted and the Spurs community went mad when Paul said, from what he heard, that this transfer window was going to be ginormous, was the word he used, I think, or gigantic, one of the two. Contracts ripped up, players out en masse, and it's going to be a big summer, which we always hear. Those words. And obviously here we are, 4 days into the transfer window. And we've had Harry Winks leave, Joe Rodon leave, and obviously the big one. Are we going to see a lot of movement, Amir, this week on outgoings?
I would really, really, really hope to think so. Can I see all the players that I want being gone? I highly, highly doubt that. Can we get another 3, 4, 5 out the door? It's possible. It is possible. You know, the deadline day, there's probably moves to be made there. You know, I'm looking at key ones, though, that I want gone. You know, you're looking at your Ndombele's, you're looking at your Dyers, you're looking at, people like Regulon, there's people that need to go, and even our ex-club captain Lloris, even for his sake, I want him to find a new club and go off on a new challenge. Like it's time to move forward, and so we can do, we can start setting our sights high with Ange. So yeah, for me, has to be probably, I would say 4 or 5 players minimum for me, minimum out the door for me to be, a bit more calm come September the 1st.
Okay, David.
I think one thing that we're not talking about either is, yes, our window closes in a couple of days, but the Saudi one closes in like another 2 weeks.
3
weeks.
3 is it? 3 weeks. Yeah. So I think
they can rape and pillage the league.
Yeah, that's it. So I think in Levy's head, he's probably watching them come in and buy all these players for stupid money, and you know what I mean? Probably sitting there thinking we're going to get like 100 million for Eric Dyer, because in his head, we know what Levy's like. He's an idiot. So outgoings, personally, I only see like 1 or 2 going. I think the only outgoing we'll probably see is if we are going in for Brennan, whoever goes the other way. Do you know what I mean? Because, Lloris, from the start of the window, everyone knew he was leaving. He openly said he doesn't want to be at Tottenham anymore. He's still here training with the first team. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, just end his contract. He's been with us 11 years, is it? Cut up his contract and let him go and explore his options as a free agent, yeah? Surely he'd mutually do that. But other than that, I can't see many going. Brian Hill's just coming back from an injury. There is reports that some are looking at Regulon. But
even Manchester United, apparently.
Man United, yeah. But apparently we cut that out of the water. So what is going on? We need these players out, yet at every opportunity, Levy's stopping it. So
Johnny?
Who knows?
Listen, look, I'm fed up with it all, to be honest with you. Lloris, I wouldn't trust him to bring me my dinner without dropping it. We got Brian Gill, who's had a moustache operation, right? He won't be fit for I don't know how long. Eric Dyer's changed himself to the Hotspur Way radiator, and he ain't going anywhere. Who else we got? Region, I would keep. I don't understand this obsession with getting rid of Region, right? Okay. If a Doji gets injured, going forward, he's a left back, right? That's his position. He's come from Real Madrid, right? He went to Atletico Madrid to play for Simeone because Simeone rates him. And you know what a workhorse Simeone is, right? And his talent ID. He didn't play as a wing back. So if Doji gets injured, I want him playing because at least he can run with the ball. He's quick going forward, and I don't want Davis, and I don't want Chief String Sessegnon as my backup, to be honest with you. Who else have we got? Who have I left out? I'm just trying to think who I've got. And Don Belly, the guy who runs with a rucksack on his back. I mean, I don't understand how he's still here. Four different offers he's had. He's not accepting any of them. Oliver Skipp, great servant, works really hard, okay? But his levels, like I've been saying, Sarr has levels. I've got a lot of abuse for it. Sarr has levels above Skipp. I'm not saying Skip's a terrible player because he's, he does his job, but I think he's more suited. I would rather keep sell Skipp or loan Skipp out. Or sell Skipp and get the money in to get ourselves another 6. Who else have I missed, Brian? Because I've got.
I'm not too sure, but I've just been. I just want to say. I just want to bring up. I just want to. Johnny. One second. I just want to deal with this Chelsea fan who wants to come in and say such stupid things. Liking the word of the used gassed from a Chelsea fan, very, very typical of this lot. I would also say I have seen what your fans were doing in a 3-0 home win to Luton. So if you want to talk about fans that go OTT and fans that go absolutely batshit crazy over needless performances, I would say 3-0 to Luton, great choice on words. Yet you're using your bank holiday Monday at 27 minutes past 9 in the morning to come into a Spurs channel. So, Ben, you know what to do. If Ben Kaufman is still in the chat or a mod is in there, can you please block this person? Sorry, Johnny, back to you with Højbjerg.
Højbjerg, I 100% would not get rid of him. I think what you saw on... I've been in the minority, like saying, what are you all on? And I think Ange showed... specifically in the last 2 games, bringing him on to use his experience, as a leading player for Denmark and a player that's played 100 games in the last 2 years, to keep a level head. Yes, he made one rash pass against Man United, if someone's going to bring that up. But on the whole, I thought him and Perisic coming on really controlled that. They took off the 2 young kids, brought on the wise heads. And that is going to be needed very much in the games ahead against bigger teams. But also with Papasar and Basuma going off to the AC in January, I don't think we can afford to lose him. Which is why I feel like we need another 6.
Yeah,
but I don't know. Go on.
I was just going to say, when he made them subs as well, we were on the back foot against them. Correct. And the second he made them subs, it just switched again, and we had full control of it. And I completely agree with you, Johnny, mate. Honestly, having the type of old head, as they call them, in the squad for the younger ones to come off, and you just get them to settle the game down, take control of it again. I completely agree with that.
You win nothing with kids unless you've got a couple of wise heads, keeping it real.
Exactly.
There you go. So yeah, no, I mean, without going, listen, we definitely need getting rid of this Deadwood or even play it. We just need this mass clear out. We've got 4 days left, 5 if you include today, but let's just say 4 for argument's sake. We need about 6 or 7 out. Technically, whether they're a mix of Deadwood and players that just aren't going to fit in the system and may bring in cash. Obviously, the Deadwood first. But once again, lastminute.com. That should be there you go, mate. I'm sure you're trying to make your own version of a Macarena. I think you need to do it. Make your own dance. I have to say good morning to everyone again. 300 people in here. Good morning to you all.
Do we know any of them, Brian?
We know a majority of them. The regular Tottenham on Tour family are in the building, but now we're going to let's have some fun. Obviously, I was on a stream with the Voice of Spurs on We Are Tottenham TV this week, and obviously the Angels Robbie Williams song was being sung, and obviously it started going round. Then I've seen on YouTube, I've seen different shows from other channels get hold of it and start singing it. And then all of a sudden, I'm at AEW yesterday. I just got a message, or someone tagged me in something. It was Ferg that tagged me in it. And I just saw Robbie Williams. I couldn't hear it because I was at Wembley, obviously, and everything that was going on. So as I got on the train, I played it. And to hear Robbie Williams singing his own massive song, and I don't think people realise how massive this song is, because I'm a big fan of Robbie Williams. And with Robbie Williams, his record label were ready to cut him after his first album before he released that song. And then that song changed everything for him. And then you see it, and to hear Robbie Williams singing the Ange Love is real. It's sweeping the world. Big up to James Black, the Voice of Spurs. What an incredible honour. How crazy, Amir, was it to see that last night?
Unbelievable. And you know what? That song came to my WhatsApp a few days ago, and I just started sending it to all my friends and family that are Spurs, just to pump it out there and spread that Ange love, and just to see Robbie Williams pick up on it and do his little his own song there for Ange. Unbelievable. And to be honest, lads, I think we're on to a winner. Look, the way the guy speaks, the football we're playing, his track record, everything is pointing us in the right direction. If the ship was sailing in rough waters for the last 3-4 years, it seems like Ange has managed to steady the ship and get us out of those rough waters, and hopefully, we'll go on to new heights, hopefully under Ange. So yeah, I'm absolutely pumped for everything that's going on with him, and for Robbie Williams to for such a star to pick up on it and sing it himself. I'm sure Ange is smiling. Sure.
It has to be. David, before I come to you, I have to say I'm not going to sing it because my singing voice is terrible. But Digaro, if you sing what he's just sung in his head, because I did the
guy. We'll drive a Chevy to the levee over Levy.
Over Levy.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. I might be going back and checking this out.
Singing, why don't we say goodbye?
No. I big up to guys. So David, what's your thoughts on Robbie Williams and his new song Big Ange instead?
Oh, it's unbelievable, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Robbie's song was so catchy back in the day, but adding Ange to it, and it just makes it even better, doesn't it? And it's personally for me, it's all down to Alfie Devine, because we know Robbie Williams is a big Port Vale fan, and Alfie's gone there. So do you know what I mean? It's one of them, but yeah, when I first heard it, I couldn't believe it. I thought it was absolutely wonderful, and like Amir said, do you know what I mean? We were sitting in rough waters, mate. And just come in and he's just took that storm away, and we are just nicely sailing at the moment, and things are just back, There's love for the club. There's joy within the fan base, and it's just that feel-good factor's back, You've got a connection. Everyone's talking, everyone's happy, and it's all down to Ange. He's come in and done such wonderful things.
You're right, Johnny. What's your thoughts on Ange and Robbie?
I've sorry, can't help it. It's become sideshow. I like Sideshow Bob. I'm a bit disappointed he didn't do all 2 verses. Right, it's not the longest song in the world. He only did the first verse. No,
I don't think he was going to sing the part about Pochettino. I don't think he was ever going to do that.
No, I was hoping he was going to do that. About him being dead, yeah. He obviously was, was going to sing that. Listen, it's a great song. I always love that song anyway. But hopefully the crowd will start singing it. It's very difficult for Spurs fans to sing anything with more than one sentence in it. So hopefully we can start having this as an anthem. I'm having trouble with flies again. I am. Yeah, hopefully it will become an anthem and we'll start to hear it at the stadium. Let's be honest, right? The stadium was like a mortuary. For the whole of last season, it was awful. I can only really remember the Arsenal game of like 18 months or so ago being any good. But the atmosphere against Man United was unbelievable. I was still there, sat in my seat 10 minutes after the game had finished, singing and clapping and buzzing. And I went out the stadium and I was singing and clapping and buzzing. And down the high street, kids were jumping up and down. And, you know, wow, you know, is this the same club? It's quite remarkable that one guy can lift the gloom. And let's be serious, you know, we had Conte who made us feel like we were lucky to even have him here. Well, now we've got Ange who tells us how lucky he is to be here. It's
so
refreshing.
true.
It's refreshing.
So true. And
Long may
I
it continue.
big time. I have to say as well, a big up to Simon Kerwood, who has just donated a $50 Australian super sticker. And I'm just going to show it there because I always try to show them. It's the rocket ship. Thank you very, very much indeed. And then another super chat from Adrian saying, "Leave, you're going to charge royalties to Robbie now." It might not be that, but what's the bet? What is the bet that there will be a Robbie Williams concert at the White Hart Lane Stadium, at the new Tottenham-Hotspur Stadium within the next 2 years? You could put a bet on it, but I'm going to just recap what you said. I mean, you look at how it's been since Poch, the doom, the gloom, the pandemic, where obviously no one could go into the ground. The
pandemic was the highlight, Brian. What are you talking about?
It's just been so awful times at Spurs. And now when you see this, it's just incredible. Like Blake said, and Blake's, remember, Blake is my burner in Australia. He's back in the building, everyone. Apparently my burner account. Big up, Blake. I hope you're good. It's even James, the voice of Spurs, was saying he woke up in the morning to see that his song was headlines in Australian newspapers. Ange Love is sweeping the world. I mean, we did our show yesterday, Johnny, but the fact that these songs are catching on now, we used to see songs getting released. We're like, oh God, that's pathetic. Oh God, that's boring. Oh God, that's dull. Oh my God, how cringe. Oh my God.
Cringe.
It was, and it's literally, it is sweeping the world. And big up, there's another guy, Lloris, who made his debut last week. Good friend of David.
Morning, Lewis.
So it's always good to see new people in.
No
right.
school today, buddy.
Let's have some fun here for the last. We're going to do some questions shortly, but we're at the end of the month.
Who's shorty?
We are at the end of the month, Premier League wise. We won't be playing any more games of the Premier League. Let's start having a look. Obviously, we're all going to say we think that Ange should be manager of the month, although probably Pep will get it because he's gone free for free. But let's talk about this. We're going to go through player of the month and young player of the month. And let's see what people in the chat have to say as well. So we're going to go round the circle and do player of the month first. And Johnny, I'm going to start with you.
Player of the month?
But Spurs only. Spurs only.
Right, okay. Well, it's a tough one, really, between Richarlison and I'm going to go. I'm going to go Basuma. I'm going to go Basuma over the 3 games. Yeah. Do you want me to elaborate or?
Yeah, elaborate a bit. Just.
Oh yeah. I mean, listen. Look. I think in a game where they're paying 115 million for the number 6 now. They're paying now more for number 6s than they are for strikers. I never thought it'd happen in my lifetime.
Yeah.
But, you know, having to pay 25 million for a guy who really is probably, I reckon he's one of the best players in the Premier League, if not the Premier League player of the month, personally, Basuma. So he just had everything. And if you took him out of this team, we would not be in the position we are right now.
There we go. David?
Player of the month for me, I've got to agree with Johnny. I think Basuma, he has just been a breath of fresh air. I mean, after last season and his troubles, you know what I mean, not getting into the team and his injury and everything, he has just lit it up. And like Johnny said, you know what I mean, you're seeing these players go for like 130 million, 120 million, etc. And, you know, he's just a wonderful player. So, yeah, I've got to give it to Basuma.
Okay. Amir, you going the same?
Yeah, it's free for free. It's free for free, ladies and gents. Basuma, what he's done has been, you know, the transformation from last season where we barely saw him to just absolutely bossing Man United. You know, it's an absolute transformation. And I've got a sneaky feeling there's a lot more to come from him. So, yeah, it's got to be him for the player of the month.
So I'm going to say it's pretty much guaranteed with us here. It's a full house.
Yeah.
It's got to be Basuma. I mean, I've seen a lot of people here saying Maddison, which I can understand because of the impact he's had, and obviously him being the player that we've been missing for so long. But it is absolutely clear as anything here that there is a lot of love, and it's completely mainly one-sided here for Yves Basuma. Don't forget, people, once we've done young player, we're going to go through some questions. If you have any questions, put at TOT or at Tottenham on Tour so I can see them.
And hit that like button, guys. Come on.
Yeah, do you know what? Now you said that. You're like the talking clock for me. When you say that, it reminds me to have a look. So, 304 people in the building, 146 likes. So just under 50%. Let's try and get that up.
That means 50% of the people aren't enjoying it. David, Aaron, I mean, what's going on?
You know what, David?
It's Welshman on, isn't it?
Yeah, it's because it's your debut, mate. It's because it's your debut. Show David some love.
To one side, the anti-Welsh sentiment's got no place in this room.
Do you know what I'll do as well before we go young player of the month? Let's see if this will get a few likes in from people if they choose to do so. Just to let you know, transfer deadline day is obviously Friday, and Tottenham on Tour are going to have you covered with we're going to do this very Sky Sports styley. So in the morning, it will be the breakfast show with me and Johnny, and whoever it may be. It will be Cockerel Doodle Doo at our own houses from 8:50 till 10. Then we're jetting off, me and Johnny. We're going on location, and we're making our way all the way to Ben's Coffee House, where we will be spending the entire day on transfer deadline day. Any news breaks, any players in, any players out, anything big, we will be going live at Ben's Coffee House, keeping everyone up to date pretty much.
Get that toilet ready, mate. Keep that toilet ready. Drinking all that coffee.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what we're going to be doing. So you will be covered by Tottenham on Tour. We're going to have guests on. Hopefully, I've got to check out because they'll be very busy. I'm going to try and get Ben and Simeon to come on from We Are Tottenham TV when they're not doing their bits. There's going to be loads of people. David will join us at some point. Amir, if he can. Anyone else that wants to join us, just reach out to us on social media. You will be able to join us when we go live. But
Daniel, if you're watching, you're welcome to come in and give us a breaking exclusive of all the deals we're interested in.
I'll give him something breaking. I'll give him something breaking, all right, but that's a different stream. Right, young player of the month. And we're going to go round the other way. So, Amir, we're going to go to you first.
So this one is a lot trickier than
it is. This is the one.
This is the one. So I'm going to have to give it to my guy, Udogie, or Udogie, however you say his name.
Udogie.
Udogie. So for me, the guy is absolute class. He's been oozing, calmness on the ball, skill, defending, solidly, not letting his players get behind him. And that assist the other day was just icing on the cake for me. The link up with Son, and then to Kulu. So yeah, for me, Destiny's my guy, but obviously it's a close second for Pape Mate, for what he's been doing. But yeah, very tough decision on that one. Very tough.
Do you know what? How refreshing is it, Amir, to have this, and everyone in the chat? How refreshing is it to say for Young Player of the Month, we've gone from having one of the oldest squads to one of the youngest squads in 2 months with Ange, and there's so many candidates for Young Player of the Month. David, who are you going for?
It's a tough one. Obviously, like you said, we've got so many candidates, but for me, and the way he's settled in literally as quick as he has, and and how he's just made us so solid, it has to be Van de Ven for me. I mean, he is absolutely a Rolls Royce of a player. He's so young as well, and the partnership he's already forming with Romero, I just think he deserves it, because we look so solid at the back now, and he is, like, Romero's very gung-ho, but Van de Ven is so calm on the ball. He has just this aura about him that is just perfect for that back line. So for me, Van de Ven.
Okay, Johnny.
Listen, Mickey Van de Ven, right, and Papasar, and Kuti, fantastic partnership. Udogie, right, great behind the window. But for me, I have to go for Sarr, because I've just been raving about him for such a long time now, and how good he is. And, for me to get that opportunity against AC Milan, and for Conte to treat him like shit and dump him straight out the team after that unbelievable performance, it didn't faze him. He plays with a smile on his face. It reminds me of a young Patrick Vieira. He's got the same body shape, and the way he runs, he just goes and goes and goes. He's got the tackling. He's got the passing. The weight of pass for Maddison's goal on the weekend was fantastic. He scores goals. The finish against Man United, and his partnership with his daddy, as he calls him, like his big bro, Basuma, who he follows around. I gave this analogy. That's when Skip played with him against Brentford. It would look like, the master and the apprentice, going out for, an electrician maybe taken out his apprentice. And like, you carry my bag, Skip. Okay. And Basuma did all the work, and Skip was just holding the bag. Whereas when he came out with Papasar, he says, no, I'm not going to hold the bag. I'm going to take out the tools. Let me do this. Let me do that. He was involved. The partnership between Kuti and Mickey is fantastic, right? But a combination of the partnership between Basuma and Sarr, and Kuti and Mickey Van de Ven, is what's going to really define our season, I believe, because that's going to give us the stability to enable that front three, who really aren't firing at the moment, what anyone wants to say, to get away with stuff and have more chances than they should be having, and still keep a clean sheet. I cannot believe that this Tottenham team, who shipped 63 goals last season, have in 3 games conceded 1 soft penalty and a deflected goal. That's it. I mean, it's incredible, right? So for me, it's Papasar. But like the other guys, it could have gone to any one of those 3, in my opinion.
Okay, so I'll come in now. People will know I'm just a bigger fan of Sarr as you as well, Johnny. We spent a lot of time on Spaces and everything speaking about this guy, and the only reason I'm not going for him is because he didn't play against Brentford, or he came on late. If he did come on, I can't remember. That's the only reason. For me, I'm going for a guy that I've picked in every single Ange management that we've done in our special mentions, and I am totally agreeing with Amir. It's Destiny Udogie for me. Don't get me wrong, like you said, it is so refreshing to say you could have Van de Ven, you could have Porro, and Porro the last couple of games has been absolutely outstanding, but he didn't play against Brentford, so I can't use him for the same reason that I didn't pick Sarr. I think Destiny Udogie, you're looking at this. I mentioned it on Ange management yesterday morning, and then I've heard a lot of streams talking about it, not because of me, but because I think it's factual. Currently standing right now, After only 3 games, he's the best left back in the league currently. Not overall and not in general, because there's some very, very good left backs here. But to start the season in a new team and have the impact this man is having, I can't remember the last time I felt so secure with our left back. It's probably Danny Rose. In all honesty, we're looking at Danny Rose. What this man has done in 3 games, and seeing what he did for the assist against Brentford, was just immense. But like we were all saying, how refreshing. It could have gone to Van der Ven. It could have gone to Porro. It could have gone to Sarr. This team, this young team, and full props go to Big Ange.
You know, Destiny, I was going to say, Brian, Destiny was voted, rated, should I say, one of the top 5 young left backs or left attacking sided players in Europe. So, you know, he hasn't disappointed in any shape, way or form. The only question is, could he make the transition from playing, left wing back to playing left back? And we haven't even seen the real Udogie yet, because Udinese, once he gathers a pace and he likes to cut inside and shoot, we haven't actually seen that yet. He's been a little bit more reserved under Ange, funny enough, but we will see more. You will see his goal scoring, cutting in from that side and hitting a ferocious shot. I expect him to score 3 or 4 goals at least this season.
Well, let's hope so. Let's start going through these questions, and we got 6 questions to go through, and we will start with a very good friend of mine, James Flower. Surely, if Ange wants him, we need to back Ange. For me, he will play striker. He's talking about Brennan Johnson, obviously. We got, like we said, for me, we got to agree. If Ange has said to whoever it may be, I want this man, we have to back what the manager said. Do I see him? Listen, we've seen players converted from wingers to strikers. Can he do it? I don't know. I honestly don't know. David, what do you? Again, I'll go to you first for your knowledge on him.
For me, he won't play as a striker. You know what I mean? He's either going to be a winger or he'll be used to rotate midfield if we're short in that area. But to play Brennan up front, he just hasn't got that in him at the moment. Who knows if Ange wants to work on that? But honestly, I'd rather put Dane Scarlett up front over Brennan Johnson as a striker, because he just doesn't fill that type of profile that we need. He is a winger, or he's an attacking midfielder, not a striker for me.
Okay. Johnny?
Listen, I'll just say this, right? If this club, knowing full well that Harry was going, had been working for the last God knows how many months, and this is what they've come up with to replace Harry Kane, give me a break. Honestly, I'm not saying that Brennan Johnson is a terrible player. He's 22 years of age and he's still developing. But where's he going to play? I don't understand it. We need a backup striker. And, you know, if he comes, I'll get behind him. But I just think it's a really strange signing for me. Really strange.
Amir?
Yeah, I'm with Johnny on this one. I'm not too sure about Johnson coming in. You know, the price being put out there, and he just doesn't fit the mold of what we need. We need an out-and-out striker to come in and to challenge Richie for that spot and to come in and get us goals. So is Johnson the man for that? I'm not too sure. But again, if Ange wants him, this isn't Levy saying take this guy, and Ange actually needs him, then obviously I'm for it. But yeah, it's a bit of an odd one for me.
It is. I'll put a different kind of spin on this. I won't really talk about if it is coming in. I'm more concerned if Ange does want him and we don't get him in because of price and deals. It'll be like, well, I told you that's the guy I wanted. That's who I wanted. You've had you notice you started transfer negotiations on the Monday. I was about to go into Craig David 7 days there. I mentioned the player on a Monday. You went into negotiation on Tuesday. We tried, but we failed on a Wednesday, then a Thursday and a Friday, and we chilled because the window was closed. So I think that's where I'm concerned with this deal. If he does want him, and we don't get him, is there an alternative? And is it another at least we tried.com?
Brian, just very quickly, and I just got to add this because I think it's really important here, right?
Go on.
If you listed every single player, right, since Ange came in, that we've been told by these same press guys that Ange wanted or Ange is okayed, the list is ridiculous, okay? So I'm not sure we can just say categorically this is who Ange wants, because I don't know. I just can't believe everything I read. It's as simple as that.
I have to say as well, Colin has. I will say this as well, and I'll always give credit where it's due. Colin, who has been supporting the channel incredibly and in a lot of the streams that we put on always, has been saying this for a long time about Brennan Johnson before we had any talk, any rumour, anything. So
he's a 1v1, like was saying before, like David was saying before. You know, put him on the flank, 1v1. He's perfect for Ange, right?
Yeah.
So what are you going to do with Kulu?
Yep. This is what the manager gets paid the big bucks for. But this question, I'm really going to enjoy getting into, and we'll go to you first, Johnny. If Dyer and Ndombele and Lloris stay but are frozen out, do you think their toxicity can still filter through to the first team?
Well, what I would do is I would put them into the ladies section, right, and make them train with them, right? I would keep as far away as possible. In fact, what I would do, their access cards would be revoked, and I would tell them to stay at home.
Okay, so that's a yes. That's a yes.
Yeah, yes, they would. And yes, they need to be going. And you couldn't put Dyer and Lloris together because they had that coming together after the Newcastle game at half time, remember? And Lloris came out and forgot what injury he had that he couldn't come out for the second half.
There we go. David.
Yeah, I agree with Johnny. Just put them completely away from the first team. I mean, you look at the way the team is now. You look at every picture, every post. Yeah. They are absolutely together as a team, and that's what we haven't had. I know people are probably going to hate me bringing up his name, but Conte said it best. There's so many individuals who are just thinking about themselves. Now they're thinking as a collective. Yeah? Look at Maddison's post to Richarlison. He knows he's down. He knows he's getting hate. What's the first thing he does? Puts up a post, giving him props, saying you're doing well, just keep at it, right? Yeah. We can say what we want, but they're a part of a team, and that's what they are at the moment. If these three are being frozen out, don't even send them. Just go send them to that imaginary cheese room of Levy's and just get rid of them.
Or the Sky Bar that's still not
the Sky,
open.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Another thing. Amir, what's your thoughts on this one?
Stick them on the Skywalk thing, you know, get them up there. Get them up there managing that, you know. We've got to get Ndombele out of this club. The guy is poison. You know, I hope other fans of clubs aren't hearing it because no one will want this guy, but we need to ship him out as soon as possible, please, you know. And whoever signed the guy and whoever was involved in that transfer, Hitchin, you know, it's just, it's unbelievable that this guy is one of our highest.
But Amir, what happened? Amir, what happened to all that fan base in their thousands, right? That were raving. Let's bring back Ndombele. Ange will save Ndombele. And me, I got abused for saying Lo Celso's the only player that can play.
No.
Non-stop abuse I got, right? No. I was called racist because I said it.
Billy's got a point, Johnny. Billy's got a point.
What?
What have the ladies done to deserve getting the Lloris and Ndombele?
That's why you stick them on the roof.
Sorry, you're quite right, Billy. My mistake. The gardening plot, to be honest with you, the vegetable patch, right, probably needs attending.
So, Joe, I'll just quickly add to this. I mean, do you know what? I'll focus mainly on Hugo Lloris because we all know that Ndombele can't be around this dressing room. He just simply can't because he's shown it, as we've heard from Ange, since he's been back. We've seen it. Hugo Lloris, who, what we do have to remember before we do this, has been an incredible servant to this football club. And for 90% of his time at Spurs, he has been a fantastic goalkeeper. And for a majority of that, captain. And is the best goalkeeper. I caught the tail end of, I've said this before, the tail end of Clements, who probably is the greatest since I've been alive. Just didn't get to see him. My favourite was Paul Robinson, but another personal favourite for the cult hero was Torsvet. This guy is a wonderful servant. It's just not worked out the last couple of years. He's dropped off, but once again, we until now, when we got Big Vic in, haven't addressed the issue. The fact that he has now been, I don't want to use the word stripped. He hasn't been stripped of the captaincy. He no longer features. Stripping the captaincy means you've done something terrible, and you like Xhaka did at Arsenal, and other people have done. Højbjerg when he wouldn't sign his contract at Portsmouth. I don't see how you strip him of the captain. Or look, I said I'm not going to say that, and then I do it. I don't see how you take the captaincy off him, say he's no longer needed, then you can't get rid of him because he decides I don't want to go to Lazio because I won't be first team, and then go off you go, lads. Just go mingle, but your word means nothing. Your opinion is null and void. It can only be for me a negative thing to be done.
It's a poor way of treating him, Brian, right?
Yeah, mate, this is what this club does. This is what this club does. I don't understand why we don't just say, Hugo Lloris, thank you very much indeed. Rather than seeing out your last year and getting paid, let's get to a settlement or even pay you out in full. Off you go. Spend some time with your family. Find the club that suits you. You make that move after years of dedication to this football club, years of staying with us when big clubs came in for him, not winning any trophies domestically in the country or European with Tottenham as opposed to France. Go and have your final move that you desire and a thank you, but we won't do that. But I think
the
they
Shakhtar
just
game, Brian.
I
was just going to say the Shakhtar game
is
an embarrassment when you've got the Shakhtar goalkeeper getting a guard of honour coming off at the pitch at White Hart Lane at the Tottenham Stadium when our own goalkeeper has had 10 years. Should he not been afforded exactly the same thing? Would that not been the decent way to see him out? Have a guard of honour. He comes off. Lloris comes off. You just give him 10 minutes in the game, and we all salute him. We all thank him. Thank you, Hugo. I think it's a fitting way for him to go, and he deserved that, not to be ushered out the door the way he has. Whatever you may think of him, and you know, the last 18 months haven't been great.
Yep, we'll go on to the next question because we're going to go through these now. So, International Observer, big up, another great supporter of the channel, as is the 316 that are still in the room. Thank you so much. I really hope you are enjoying the show. Robbie Williams is a hustle, is on the hustle, smart guy, win-win situation. I guess we get an anthem whilst he would rightfully get his royalties. It's his song, and a concert will do nicely. I said it. It's you know what? You can see it. You can see it. Okay, we've got two more. Oh no, we've got four more. Sorry, my bad. Donovan, big up Donovan, all the way in the west coast of Canada. What are you doing up at 2 o'clock? 2 o'clock in the morning. Big up Donovan, brother. If we can roll up to the Emirates and get a result, how does that change your end of season predictions? That's a fucking phenomenal question, David.
Oh, why start with me?
Because I can. Because
yeah,
I can.
I know. I mean, it would be a fantastic result. My end of season predictions were quite low before we started, but they have since changed. I think we could get top four if we carry on with the way we're going. I think we could push fifth or fourth. For me, I definitely think we'll get Europe, and I think we'll go far in the cup. But I don't think one game's going to change anything, especially against them lot. But you know, it's one of them. Who knows at the moment, because we're seeing teams who did well last season struggling this season, and teams who were struggling last season doing well. It's a hard one.
Okay, Johnny.
I said fifth or sixth, and I'm going to stick to that because one swallow doesn't make a summer. We're 3 games in. If we don't sign any backup striker or a backup centre back, we are back in trouble because It's the same as last year. Right now, as good as and happy as I am with the signings, I'd rate this window like a maximum 4 out of 10, purely because I know we need a backup centre-back and we need a backup striker. Imagine, okay, everyone says, imagine Richie gets injured and Son's away on national duty for the Asian Cup, as he will be in January. We've got
Jesus. He's off as well.
We've got no Basuma and we got no Sarr. All right, and we got injuries at the back. No. We need more. That's why I'm saying to you, guys, we can survive without Brennan Johnson. I'm not saying Brennan Johnson is a bad player at all. I'm just saying I feel that I would rather spend that 40 million on a centre-back and an out-and-out striker. That's it.
There we go. Amir.
If it changes my prediction, I don't think it changes. I think we're still going to sneak into Europe, hopefully in that 5th place, which I think can get us into the Champions League, if I'm not mistaken, next season. So, yeah, I'm still going to stick with that. But what I think it will do, if we go and beat them, that's going to lay down a marker for everyone, being like, Ange is here, baby. So, for me, it will lay down a huge marker. It's a vital, critical match, and building on like confidence for the cup games as well. That's gonna just give us confidence that we can go and smash anyone, anywhere. And obviously we got City in the bag, so whenever they come around, we'll do them over as well. So yeah, hopefully we can roll up there and get the win. Be fantastic.
There we go. So yeah, I'm the same. Listen, Donovan, if we win the North London derby, I think what we will see is Ange love go up about 500 levels. It will be fever pitch, and we thought what we saw at Man U in the stands and what we've seen away is big. If I can win on my one and only trip to the Emirates, my God, to say I've got a 100% record at the Emirates, Jesus Christ! My predictions, I'm kind of with Johnny as well, that one swallow doesn't make a summer, but it will certainly give us some hope. It'll be a massive confidence booster. Right, we're going to get through these quick because we're redirecting everyone to Sav's show, which, so if you want to watch Sav's show, we will be redirecting you directly after this. But we'll go through these a little bit quicker because I like to keep this to 10. We're 7 minutes over. Phil, we'll do this one quickly because I know mine already. What has been the most comical or embarrassing moment you have seen on the pitch for Spurs? Personally, I've hoped for Richarlison stepping on the football pitch or Marcus Edwards turning Eric Dyer inside out. I'm going to go very quickly. Very, very simple answer. Happened last season, around about April time. Newcastle 6, Tottenham Hotspur 1. That first half was the most embarrassing moment of my Spurs career, my Spurs supporting life, and I was ashamed. Absolutely ashamed of that first half performance. Amir?
You know what? I'm going to have to go way back for this one. If it's the most comical, I'm going to say, I think it was City, and we were 3-0 up, was it?
Oh, God, you're going to do the one I'm doing, Amir?
We were 3-0 up, and Johnny, am I not mistaken? Were they down to 10 men as well?
Yeah, they had the man sent off. Man.
Yeah.
Joey Barton got sent off at half time.
To 10 men, and we
thought, this is it. I was there. This is it. We're going to smash them in a cup, right?
Listen, that to me, I can remember.
That's
I think
great
I was
shout.
on the radio. It was back then when you still listening to matches on the radio, and I just was going bananas. Absolutely,
mate. You say bananas. I'll tell you something very, very quick about this one before we go to David, because I'm going to give Johnny time to think of another one. During that time, that was the time period where I was in the mental health hospital because I had my breakdown, and I was in the first part. You're not allowed to leave. In the second part, you can go out see your family, but you got to go back at night. So I left, and my parents had me over for dinner so I could watch the game with my dad. And I was in a good mood. I'd been moving out. I was getting ready for my release from the mental health unit. Watched that game of football, and when I got back into when my dad dropped me off, I was in there as well because of my anger and everything. Everyone was like, "You okay?" And I was like, "Stay." That I had to go into my own room. Normally you're in a room that was shared with people. I was like, "Keep me away from anyone and everyone." And I did, unfortunately, smash a few things. But yeah, that my God, you've just hit mad flashbacks for me. David, your most embarrassing?
Levy and Enoch buying the club.
Oh, why did you do that? Don't say it on the pitch. You don't say it on the pitch.
On the pitch, sorry. Yeah. For me, it's only because obviously my missus is a West Ham fan, and that game really aggravated the hell out of me. Was Lanzini's last-minute goal against us when he scored that screamer in the top corner, and I was so happy we went 2-2, and I was screaming at it. I was giving it all everything, and he bangs that in, and I just sat there and was just completely and utterly embarrassed and felt ashamed.
Johnny.
Oh, this is one. I sat with my son, and we were playing Man United. We were 3-0 up, and everyone around me was high-fiving them all and going, yeah, we're smashing Man United. And they were texting their friends. And I said to my son, never text anyone. This is Tottenham. This is Spurs, right? But even I didn't expect Man United to go out and score 5 goals in the second half. But one more. I've got to do one more, right?
Go on.
I went to Derby, the baseball ground, away. Okay? Steve Perriman scored a goal to make it 3-2 at half-time. We're back in the game, boys. We're back in the game. I thought, yes, I can see it happening. Derby went and scored another 5 goals, and we lost 8-2.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Right, we've got 3 more. One's a super chat, which we'll finish off on. But, Johnny, I'm going to leave you out of this question because the next question is specifically for you. So I'll go to David first. And just do your changes. Don't go through the whole 11. What would be your starting lineup for Fulham?
I'd put Solomon on. Perisic, I'd start. Solomon for Kulu. Okay. I'd put Perisic on for Cern. And I'd keep Richie on. And midfield, I'd put Skip and Højbjerg on. And I think that's it, yeah.
All right, Amir?
So basically the same, although I'd leave Sonny on and I'd stick Lo Celso on. I'd give him a run out. I want to see what he can do, in that kind of Madders role. I'd like to have a little look at him. And yeah, Højbjerg or Skippy in the middle alongside Basuma would be nice.
So I'll do it quickly. I'm going to go with all of you, but I would change the entire midfield 3. So Højbjerg, Lo Celso, and Skip. I would also change Udogie for Davies, and I would also change Porro for Emerson to keep them fresh for Burnley. We need to keep this Premier League going, sir. I would keep the 3 I would keep are Van der Ven, Romero, and Vicario are the only 3. So, Johnny, your question, and I want in today's market, Norman Stanley Fletcher. This is a great question, and I didn't get to watch this guy, but I can imagine from it's my dad's hero. This is my dad's hero. Johnny, your number 6 analogy price-wise, I agree. Put a price on a famous number 6 named Dave Mackay.
Norman Stanley Fletcher, let me tell you, I was a guest at Brighton's Ballroom, and I went in there and I saw Alan Mullery, and I spoke to Alan. I said, Spurs fan. He goes, who's your hardest player? I said, I always think the hardest player ever played for Spurs was Dave Mackay. Well, it was like the lights went on, and he did not stop talking about Dave Mackay and the stories of Dave Mackay, how vicious, how aggressive he was. There's always that famous picture of him holding Billy Bremner like this. In today's market, I mean, obviously you needed to be a lot fitter, but like for like, he was the number 1. He was the man. If you had a Dave Mackay, if you wanted a leader in your team, you'd be shitting yourself in the tunnel with Dave Mackay. He'd be in the 115 million bracket. I think he played with a broken leg. He used to warn people not to tackle him or not to mess with him when he came on the pitch. That was in the days where that shit happened, Hunter and the likes,
Yep. My dad, honestly, Dad, Johnny, my dad, if when you two meet, and yesterday you got called my dad, didn't you? Talk to my dad about Dave Mackay. You're locked in for about 4 hours of a conversation just about the one man. And the final comment before we go around the table, Nithin Prasad, thank you very much for the super chat. Very quickly, we'll go round table and we'll start with you, Johnny, and work our way around David, then Amir, then me. Thoughts on Bentancur's return and impact on current 11?
I don't believe he'll be back kicking the ball till January. So in January it won't matter because Basuma and Sol will be in Africa. Hopefully not coming down with malaria, and I think he'll get game time. Unfortunately, though, I don't want him to be playing with Skip, so I hope Højbjerg's still there and they can rekindle the partnership that looked good for the first part of the start of the season. Well, Spurs had their best Premier League start under those two.
There you go, David.
I agree with Johnny, but I don't think we're going to see the old Bentancur. You know what I mean? I love him as a player, but hence the name. But I don't think he's going to come back how he was previously. I think he's going to be very slow to start. But the one thing we will see, and I think it is the reason why he's been so hit and miss lately, I think Kulu's going to pick up the second Bentancur's back, because I think ever since he got injured, Kulu just hasn't seen the same player. So I think we'll see that little bit of spark of Kulu again. But yeah, I just don't think Bentancur is going to come back and light it up how he has done.
Amir.
Do you know what? I'll agree with David that I think he'll obviously take a while to come back. You know, it's a really bad injury, the one that he's got. It will take him, a few weeks, couple of months to get back into the swing of things. But personally, I'm actually excited to see him back in that midfield. Can you imagine like Bissouma, Bentancur, Madders, like adding Sarr? It's just really, really kind of like you've just got so many choices there. And for me, Bentancur, what he offers to you is that bit more pace. Those cutting balls that he was playing into the wingers as well. What David was talking about with Kulu, maybe feeding Solomon there in the future, feeding Song. So yeah, for me, Bentancur coming back is just adding to the choices that we have there in midfield, and I'll be delighted to see him back on the pitch, because I think in the time that he was there before his injury, he was probably one of our best players, if not.
I think he was the best player. I did a poll.
Yeah.
And he was the landslide winner before the World Cup. He actually has said that he worries whether or not he'll be able to play in the manner that he played before due to the injury, and he might have to adapt his game. And if so, he probably would have to return to Italy, because it's much slower pace of football out there. And, he could probably still have a very good career out there. I do worry for him, because for me, he was my favourite player at the time.
He was fantastic.
Okay. So now I'll just very quickly say I can't wait for him to come back, and I'm with Johnny. He'll come back in January, please God. We haven't got to rush him back. And then 2 midfielders at the African Cup of Nations. In you come, Bentancur. Happy days. And that will wrap up the show. First of all, I want to thank David for making his debut. David, tell people where they can find you. And actually, let me put the link for your channel in here, if it will allow me to bloody. It's in there now, so you can find people at. Just go and give a like and subscribe to the channel I've just put in. David, tell a bit about them.
Yeah, so with a great bunch of guys, you know what I mean. We love talking about Spurs, hence the name Tottenham All. And yeah, so you can find us on Twitter at Tottenham All, on the YouTube channel Tottenham All. Please go drop us a sub and like one of the videos, and you know what I mean, hit that bell button for the content, because like I said, we do push out as much content as possible, and good content, you know what I mean. And if you want to find me personally, I'm on Twitter at Rodrigo Roadman.
There you go, David. You'll be seeing a lot more of him on Tottenham on Tour, and I will be appearing on Tottenham All this evening with David, so look forward to that. Amir, where can people find you, my brother?
Well, you can always find me on here, Tottenham on Tour with the guys here, and if you're into the whole traveling thing, you can also find me on Israel Uncovered. I'm trying to show people the Holy Land, trying to show people Israel, so you can go check out my videos on there. And also on We Are Tottenham TV, you know, the pump ups. I'm trying to get in there. When I can make it to the old pump ups there, I'll be on there as well. And there's a lot to be pumped up about this season, you know. So
there is, and anyone that is taking part in our community section and the incredible polls and everything that goes on, this man, and I did it right first time, thank God. This man is the reason. I could sing the Rodrigo Bentancur song to him. He is the reason you'll be doing surveys this season. I'm gonna stop there before I make a fool of myself. Johnny,
didn't know it.
Johnny, where can people find you, my brother?
Johnny H3232. If you go and give me a follow, I don't know what Elon Musk has done, but I woke up and I'd lost 500 followers and I haven't even upset anybody. God knows what else. It's gone.
Amazing.
Sorry, where's it gone? There you go.
Oh, there you go.
If you give me a follow here, I'm trying to get my followers back, and obviously come and watch us on our spaces, which we have, and Brian's off and on, and obviously here with Ange Management,
which will be back Wednesday.
Yeah.
Ange Management will be back live Wednesday, 8:50 in the morning. Catch me and Johnny. And all I've got to say, let me just do the final
Brian gave birth to me here. This is where Brian
I did. This is where you popped your cherry. You came out. All was good. So we had over 350, 60 people in. We've ended on 216 likes. Big up to all of you. Enjoy your bank holiday if you're in this country. Enjoy your day wherever you are. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And as always, Levy out.
Come on, you Spurs.